I saw this story on my newsfeed and I just had to. Hey guys, it's Daniel, licensed therapist. The Dalai Lama got into some drama by exhibiting one of the most bizarre and creepy behaviors I've ever witnessed someone do in public. You know what? Let's jump straight into the video.
Then I think finally here also. And suck my tongue.
Yikes. Well, I feel nauseous now. So clearly, this is a really weird thing to do. But why do it in public? I mean, who does this stuff in public? Hello, sir. There are cameras everywhere, and this will go on the internet where it will live forever. Anyway, you're probably looking for some kind of explanation, and that's why your guy here, the professional, is here to provide you with one. When thinking about this behavior, I came up with 4 possible explanations. So let's go through them. The first explanation comes from the Dalai Lama himself. Did you know that the Dalai Lama has a PR team? I imagine it was a pretty tough day at the office. In a tweet, the Dalai Lama said, "His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. He regrets the incident." Okay, there it is. I hope everyone's satisfied. Get off his back. It was just innocent and playful. I mean, you've seen grown men go to children and say, "Suck my tongue" as a playful game. Oh wait, you haven't? Neither have I. I would play the clip again, but I'm still trying to hold down my dinner from watching it the first time. You know, and I know, there was nothing playful or innocent about it. So the explanation from the Dalai Lama PR team for me is a big nope. The second explanation is the cultural explanation. In a Newsweek article said, some Tibetans are trying to claim a cultural moment that was simply lost in translation, saying that in Tibet, sticking out one's tongue is known as a traditional greeting, stemming from a 9th century myth about an unpopular king with a black tongue. NPR reports that in Tibet, when the king died, Tibetans began revealing their tongues to show they hadn't become his incarnate. Tongue sucking, however, doesn't seem to be part of this tradition. To which I feel like we all collectively thought, nice try, but no. Look, I'm not Tibetan or am I an expert in Tibetan culture, but I'm betting the house that men aren't asking little kids to suck their tongue on a regular basis over there. This is obviously some desperate attempt to justify his actions, and nobody's buying it. So no, there's no cultural explanation to this. We aren't a bunch of Western devils and misrepresenting what we saw. The next explanation is a neurological one. Is the Dalai Lama experiencing some kind of neurodegenerative disease? I think this one could be very possible. I mean, the guy is 87 years old. He very well may be just losing it. I am not an expert on the Dalai Lama, so I don't know his past behaviors, but if this is the case, we would see behaviors consistent with that. It shouldn't be just a one-off incident. And maybe there are incidents that confirm that he has Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that. If that's the case, then there you go. However, there is one more possible explanation that could be true along with something like Alzheimer's, and that is the psychological explanation. And in the vernacular, it is that he's just a really creepy dude. I don't know much about the Dalai Lama, like I said, but I do know that he lives a life of celibacy. Human beings have a sex drive. The sex drive is one of the most powerful drives that we have. To completely deny that sometimes has an unintended consequence. I mean, look at the Catholic priests. I'm not saying everyone who's celibate is a child molester or a creep. I'm just focusing on the Dalai Lama here, and looking at the most probable and best explanation as to why he asked a little kid to suck his tongue. That would be it for me. He's just a creep. And to all you Buddhists out there, I'm not bashing your religion, just your leader. And guess what? If he was a Christian or Muslim or Hindu or Catholic, I would say the same thing, because nobody should be sucking anybody else's tongue. And why is this particular incident especially nefarious? Well, it's because religious leaders wield a wild amount of authority. Back in the days of psychology, before there were ethics, there were some crazy studies that were being done. One of those studies was Milgram's study on obedience. They got test subjects and ordered them to administer electric shocks to people. These people would do it, even though the people they were administering the shocks to were yelping in pain. They protested and even pretended to be unconscious. Authority has such a tremendous amount of influence on people, and if it's a religious authority, you can just multiply that by 10. So to use that ridiculous amount of authority on children is just disgusting in my book. And that's why I give this little kid so much credit for not sucking the old man's tongue. He defied authority and he didn't do it. He listened to his gut. If I actually saw a kid suck this guy's tongue, dude, it just makes me sick thinking about it. And I think there's a lesson to be learned here for all of us. We need to know and understand that people in authority aren't necessarily good or just or even smart. We ought to evaluate each authority figure so that we're not susceptible to this very strong psychological phenomenon. But to be transparent, like I said, I don't know the Dalai Lama. I had a chance to do an extensive study on his background and behavior. I've been able to sit with him and go through a psychological evaluation. So all of this is speculation, and I could be totally wrong, and I admit that. But if I'm with my kids and the Dalai Lama's in town and I have an opportunity to go visit, that's a hard pass. Thanks for watching, you amazing person. See you next time.